Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As promised, I'm going to do a quick video of a build before I go on vacation. This past week, I was been cleaning up my shop to get it organized so I can start building again, since I've been taking a bit of a break. And I came across these cedar pickets that I've had that are cutoffs from the tall planter boxes I built a couple weeks back. And they've just been sitting around. I did plane them already to get all that roughness off of it. So I didn't want to just not do anything with them. I didn't want to throw them out or burn them in my fire pit. So I want to build something with them and I didn't know what. So finally, I have discovered what I'm going to build. I came across this box of Kleenex in our house, and as you can tell, I mean, it's decorative, but it does not go with my decor. So I decided to take these cedar pickets and build a box to cover my Kleenex box. So I have an idea in my head of how I want to do it. I kind of want make it a treasure box looking thing. Have a hinge and some hinges on the back and a clasp on the front and some footies on the corners to make it more decorative. So if it's in the house, people go, oh, that's really nice. Oh, it's a Kleenex box. That's pretty cool. So it'll have an opening at the top to pull out the Kleenex if you need it. But yeah, so we are going to build a cedar box for my Kleenex box. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going through the boards to make sure I have long enough pieces that will actually fit around the Kleenex box. Also, right there you saw that the board thickness is different. I ran a few through my planer just to make sure that the tissue box would fit between the boards. Also, I'm going ahead and getting all my measurements done and kind of doing a little bit of a dry fit just to make sure everything fits before I start my cutting. Alright, got my table saw out, ready to do my cuts. I'm cutting one of the boards first just to make sure my measurements are correct because I have a limited amount of boards I'm using. Then I'll do some dry fits before I cut the remaining boards. I also realized halfway through that I need to go ahead and send the rest of the boards through my planer just to make sure they're all the same thickness, because as of right now the top and the bottom of the boxes are thin and the sides are thick and just makes it look off. So I did that off camera. Alright, so right here this is optional. I'm just cleaning up the cut ends a little bit just to make sure that everything fits flush when I put the box together. Again, this part is optional because you'll be sanding everything later on. Alright, it's time for assembly. So I'm using a generous amount of wood glue for this project because the wood glue is going to be the only thing that's going to be holding the box together. I'm also going to make sure that everything is perfectly squared, and then once everything is perfect, I will leave it and make sure the glue cures before I start the next step. Alright, now it's time for the fun part. So we need to make the lid for the box. You could run this through your table saw to cut the lid. I decided to use my razor saw instead because I didn't want to take away a lot of material, because as of right now the tissue box fits perfectly inside, and if you take away too much material it won't close properly. So I used the razor saw and I think it turned out great. Okay, a little bit of a cleanup, and now we're ready to see if the tissue box fits inside, and as you can see, it fits perfectly and the lid opens up. So now it's time to create the opening for the tissues to be pulled out of the box. Alright, now it's time to create the opening for the tissues. So I'm drilling a few pilot holes and then using my Black & Decker jigsaw to cut out the opening. I absolutely love this jigsaw because you control the speed, and for this project I needed to go as slow as I possibly can to make sure the cuts were perfect. Alright, now it's time to apply the stain, and as you can see I'm using dishwashing gloves to do this, and I highly recommend them because multiple reasons. 1, they're inexpensive. 2, they won't rip on you, and 3, you can use them multiple times. So I highly recommend using dishwashing gloves to apply stain. So as you can see, the stain didn't adhere to the parts where the glue was on the wood because I didn't sand properly. So I had to re-sand the lid and re-stain the lid and let that dry before I can move on to the next step. Alright, now that your project is dry, it's time to finish up. We are adding the hinges, the latch, and the corner protectors of the box. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. I call them footies or corner protectors, but I think it adds a little bit of extra something to it. And also I got to use my Works little tiny screwdriver, which I highly recommend, and I will definitely leave a link in the description below on that gem. And I also got to use my little tiny hammer with my little tiny nails for this project. So I think it turned out really awesome, and I hope you enjoyed it. All right, everyone, here it is. Here is my treasure box tissue box. I think it turned out really cool. As you can tell, the only issue I had with this was the staining. All the glue that I used to put this box together, because this thing has only been being held together with glue, I didn't sand well enough to get that residue off. So when I stained it, it left splotches. I didn't like it. Had to restain it, or re-sand it, then restain it, and now I think it turned out pretty awesome. I will put a link in the description to the little hardware that I used. They're super cute and they're not that expensive, and I pretty much use them for a lot of my stuff that I do, like the wine box. Maybe I'll make a wine box one day. I used some of these fixtures, hardware, whatever you want to call them, on those boxes, and I think they turned out really, really cool. So yeah, here it is. Do I love the stain job? Not really. I do love the stain color. It's called Aged Wheat by Varathane, but I kind of wish I left it the natural cedar look and just, you know, Varathaned it, polyurethaned over it. But then I think the little hardwares, the clasps and everything would clash too much with it. So I'm happy with the way it turned out. I do like this. It was super simple. Again, this was made out of leftover cedar picket fences. that I had. Now, I did run these through my planer multiple times off camera just so I can get the width a little bit skinnier, because with the size of the box and I didn't want to add more, I went with the size of the cedar pickets itself. I needed a little bit more room for the tissue box to actually fit in there, so I did plane the top and the bottom to give that little bit extra room for it to fit. But then the sides just didn't look right, so I planed all that down, and voila, it's all done. I will put a link in the description to this awesome Works drill that my husband bought me a couple years ago, or I think a year ago now. It's really cool. It's kind of like a gun. Very awesome and easy to change out the bits. It does come with an extension on it, so I will put a link in the description to that. I'll put a link in the description to the Varathane that I did use on this as well, and I'll put a link in the description to the hand saw, the razor saw that I used to cut this box open. But other than that, everything is done, and this is ready to go somewhere in my house. Just got to find a spot instead of it just being under something and pulling it out whenever I need it. So it's so pretty now, I have to display it. So this video is over. As you can tell, I have my fishing hat on, getting it ready for my trip this weekend, or this coming up week. I'm super excited. I'm going to be spending it on a boat, on a lake, fishing with my family, and I'm super excited and can't wait. But now I'm going to cut this video short because we have to prepare for a hurricane or tropical storm that's going to be hitting us Monday or Tuesday. Not sure when, but it's coming. Got to take some stuff down and get prepared. So I hope everyone has a great day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in a few weeks. Thanks, and have a great day.